the London Spitfire going up against the Boston Uprising. And we'll start talking about look who he has to throw the blizzard to. Everyone on Boston has some kind of mobility to get out of the blizzard. As long as they expect it, they can dodge it. That's a three-man bio though from MCD. Landon, Backbone, Sparker get knocked out from Marvel, who hasn't claimed a kill yet, but he is living. Now he's walled off from MCD, and that's a good reaction from Backbone. Double kill for the Mans too, as London maybe will take control of the bot. They have a pretty solid lead so far.
Pushing this barricade.
Oh, Hottie shattered down. Striker's the only one that's hit. Faith reacts with the sound beer as Hottie used the charge cancel to just close the gap between him and a flanker. Valentine does get out, and they slice through not only the lamp from Landon, but also the entire backline of London. And speaking of, like, win with 26 meters if the other team has less, but Boston got a solid push off that three-man kill from the last time, and here we go again. Valentine with the nano and the blade cuts through. And the immortality from Landon, and Hottie falls trying to protect. Striker on the flank with a great right click.
Ultimate Lemon. Timmy is beginning to leave. TS1 has left the building, even as London Spitfire are disengaging under the auspices of the blade.
What an engage from Valentine, but the slows from Backbone actually do a lot of damage. They're gonna remove the freeze. Well, sure as heck gonna get some kills. Striker is even gonna invest a visor. And the Amp Matrix is up, spraying everyone down. That is on the bridge side, but only 3 remain of Boston. And Faith has killed 2. Marvel has turned things around. And London, 3 meters short of the win, will not be enough. Boston is quite far away. Shax is still going for Mini, and I'm wondering at what point does Victoria or Valentine want to go and pressure the Mini pack on the right side, because that's where kind of Shax's route of flanking goes through. Punk has already received the nano from MCD, and has pounced and Goomba stuff Landon and Admiral. But Shax is double pulse Faith and MCD. The counter guys have traded out heals. Now all damage is permanent as the Primal lets loose for Hottie.
Double pulse bomb. All of your support lines belong to us, and Hottie doing a great job there of just dragging everyone together.
All of London maybe have given up at this point. It was going to be a miracle if they could pull off this fight, especially with the 3-man biotic grenade that MCD splashed on the wall as London came through the left side. So Hottie might have gotten a kill, but it's the only one they got.
Pulse bomb as well, which builds up incredibly quickly when Shax can try and farm off the pump.
Oh, Victoria's already pressured the nano visor, and as the supports of London stepped up to help Hottie, they got blasted by Victoria, and Boston only have a few more meters to go and 1 minute to do it. Landon is dead again! Off respawn! London barely have any heals, and Valentine gets to finish this one off with the cherry on top. Hottie reemerges with the Reinhardt, better at close range and just as good at dying, as Boston are now getting second shaven away down to 45, but most importantly,
Landon might be given to Hottie here on the landing, but no, Landon holds their tongue, and that's a beautiful sleep from Landon. Night, night, sweet Gorilla Prince.
Punk is awake, and he angry.
Where Faith can reinforce the numbers of Boston.
Okay, we got a sound mirror being exchanged, and Valentine is just resetting on them. A great blade, and I think there was also a big biotic grenade. Really has to trade that out with MCD, and he's hesitating. He doesn't know whether to go back or not. And London also have to stay on the cart. Communication has to be perfect as Hottie gets slipped on Primal, and he's not going to be woken up. Boston, meanwhile, are killing the rest of Hottie's team, and Spitfire are really only left with Shax and Hottie to buy time for reinforcements, and it's looking impossible. But Hottie never gives up. He's going after Valentine, or he's going after Victoria. Shax has killed 3. Sparker and Hottie now head for the spawn room doors. Boston will be coming back soon. London needs a cap, or else Boston will go to series point. And that's a huge biotic grenade from Landon, getting Victoria and Valentine, who were immediately killed. What a reaction from London, and what a push from them as they capture the point.
Spitfire, but on the other side, the nano visor could change everything.
Victoria with the nano, but he got bubbled off from because of Hottie, and MCD couldn't heal up. Sparker's tap visor is even stronger. It's the 4K. The sparks fly, and Boston fall, and London continue their journey. He is already ready to be aggro as Faith is showing on the left side, and they pounce on the Landon immediately. London are in trouble. The sound bear keeps MCD alive, and Valentine will strike gold, but London strike point B and capture closure in front of Boston's eyes.
Admiral got the boot though. That means a point as Catlemon, and the spawn is just so close, but Hardy is kept at bay. Faith.
Presence known, MCD exposed himself into the backline. Shax dives after him, doesn't even need the pulse, and there was really nothing that Faith could do. He didn't have sound barrier in time. He was 20% away, and London spit in the faces of Boston and take a map and tie the series 1-1. And even more as London looked to cap point B.
The cart continues to move forward, but Boston should have an easy time recontesting this. Already Striker's in a good position, but Sparker has the oversight of the high ground, and if this isn't challenged, they will reign supreme. Oh, they don't even touch Lemon. No, they weren't touching the cart. They were too scared of Hardy and his big hammer.
I'm scared of Hardy's big hammer.
I am scared of Hardy's big hammer. Someone hold me.
And everyone's scared of Backbone like it's Overwatch 1 Sombra. So, you know, sometimes you break the glass and Backbone Sombra comes out. It's enough to cap you point B sometimes. And he's back to May. There we go. Tiny chokes. Marvel is contesting the cart, and he's the only one with an ultimate. And Hardy, he's gonna shatter on the other side of the cart. He's gonna pin Valentine. It's a 5 versus 4, and Boston need kills, but they can't get any.
Got to slam back down instantly on top of the cart. Marvel does get the overshield here and does avoid the charge as well. So Marvel remains alive at the hands of MCD. So many bardic darts being thrown around now. And there's the blizzard. None shall come to my winter wonderland. And everyone gets frozen out.
Comes through, it only gets MCD, and he already had the sound barrier to begin with. But Faith getting a little too aggro, almost took that punch to the jaw, and Hardy got too aggressive. He's finally punished. The Reaper damage so lethal close range as Valentine finishes off the kills with the blade. Sparker might outrun him, but Boston finally get to see this point fully captured. It did take the majority of their time, though.
Pass.
Amp Matrix, though, from Landon. It's not enough to cut Boston down before they're engaged. The sound barrier, the nano, and Striker strikes again. Finally, Boston get to see some light, some signs of hope. London are not even fully removed yet. And at this point, there's not really much time remaining for Boston, as they gotta not only, yeah, they'll win this fight now, but they're in overtime territory, and they still have one fight yet to go for point B. Striker is only good close range, and Sparker has the versatility. The visor catches Faith. The car is not big enough, and the deflect from Valentine wasn't there, and they all converge onto the blizzard, the Celebear, and the leftover ultimates. London stop Boston. He's trying to assassinate, and it's kind of annoying to go up against Backbone, who can ice block, and Hardy, who's just not going to die immediately. So Admiral can boop you away as well, and what an engage from London, who have already walled off the competition and charges into them. Marvel is going to be not able to play Doomfist soon.
Going somewhere, chum? No, you ain't. There has been a rotation here from Boston Uprising that has got them the outside, but look at this. Valentine can't deflect the ice beam, turned into a slush puppy, and I'm afraid gets put down at the pound. Backbone now. He is throwing out some impaling rods from that heavy pulse rifle. Backbone starts a little bit of parkour. Out comes the blade, but can it stand up against the pressure that London bring to bear? The cryo beam is just too much. And as we expected, Control Center is a power area for London Spitfire. We go with this composition, Lemon.
Well, I'm glad that Boston are finally playing the point. This would be much better for Marvel if he was alive to say so. It's Sparker versus Striker. This is going to be the battle you have to keep an eye on now that is range versus range. 30% for London, flipped back over to Boston. And without supports, London are gone. Good old kiss on the forehead. This nano attack by wait, and Sparker doing the same thing. They survive, only to clap back even harder. The absolute blow up. That is the London Spitfire right now. It's looking so good. Now they can just pound Marvel and go to the point and flip it. If Admiral gets a boop here, that could be sketchy for anyone playing on coast side. Soundbear is being engaged. Death Blossom from Backbone. Helicopters on top of the back line of Boston as Valentine is blading with 1 HP. You didn't see it because it was so R-rated. Blood on the floor. Valentine is dead, and Marvel is relocating to spawn.
It had to be done, Lemon. That could have been the fight that made London Spitfire 2-1. Who expected this? Your power rankings are terrible. You are silly. Boston Uprising are slain on LIJIANG Tower 2-0. Where's